Hey, welcome back to Everyday Economics. This is the podcast that helps you learn about the economic world happening around you every day. I'm your host, Chris Krug, CEO of the 501c3 nonprofit, nonpartisan Franklin Hughes Foundation. Everyday Economics, the production of America's Talking Network, and you can subscribe to all of our podcasts at americastalking.com. To support Everyday Economics, please make a tax-deductible charitable contribution by clicking the link in the show description. We're recording today's episode on Friday, November 22nd, and we are doing this later, much later in the day than we normally do. So thank you for your patience. My guest, partner, friend, the only reason why we do Everyday Economics is Dr. Orphe Divounguy, PhD economist. He's got all the answers, but I've got all the questions today. So Dr. O, this is the week of Thanksgiving. We're taping this on Friday, but I'm pretty sure that this show is going to be airing on Wednesday. Our terrific producer, Eliana Kernodle, will of course, slot that out for us. But want to talk about the cost of Thanksgiving dinner. And this has been a topic of conversation in particular the last few years because the cost of Thanksgiving dinner people, I think, have been feeling like it keeps going up and up. Farm Bureau, this is the American Farm Bureau, released information just today regarding and this is their annual survey of the cost of Thanksgiving dinner. And, we can get into what's into that, but I think we're talking like sort of core things: turkey stuffing, cranberry sauce, mashed potatoes, and probably some, random and assorted other vegetables. I kind of try to stick to the starches and the proteins on Thanksgiving as best as I can. The average estimated cost for Thanksgiving meal this year, I believe, for a family of 10, so this is like you're the host and you're bringing people over, $58.08 for so about $5.80 a person. That is a 5% decrease from last year and is 9% lower than what Thanksgiving cost in 2022. So go ahead. Argue with the American Farm Bureau on the cost of Thanksgiving.
I think that might actually be.
Are they in the ballpark, in your opinion?
I think that might actually be somewhat correct. I didn't expect it to have declined. I expected to have increased at a much lower pace.
Okay.
And maybe they're just using affordability as opposed to like when you say cost. Is it the nominal cost or is it the real cost, right? And I think potentially if you're talking about the real cost, then those numbers would be correct. You'd have a decline in the real cost, the cost adjusted for inflation. Mm-hmm. Why? Because if you look at those food prices, right, on a year-over-year basis, the food prices at home have actually increased at a much lower pace than say wages, right? Incomes are rising, so your purchasing power has actually increased over the past year. But that wasn't true before 2022, right? So if you looked at the food prices up until between the start of the pandemic and December 2022, food prices were up 23%. Compared to just an increase of 15%, a wage increase of just 15%, right? So really, purchasing power had gone down. But since then, we've seen food prices kind of taper off, and we've seen wage growth kind of maintain its strength relative to food prices. Mm-hmm. And so, things are slightly cheaper than they were in real terms than they were a year ago or than they were in 2022. And I think that's good news for most families going into Thanksgiving this year.
Well, let me break it down for you. So, according to Farm, this is from farmprogress.com. They're looking at the average price for a 16-pound turkey of $25.67. So it's basically about $1.68 a pound. That's down 6% from last year. 3 pounds of sweet potatoes, which I know you're a big fan of sweet potatoes, $2.93. That's down 26.2%. A gallon of whole milk is $3.21. That's down 14.3%. Pound of frozen peas, $1.73. That's down 8%. 30-ounce can of pumpkin pie mix, $4.15. That's down 6.5%. 1 pound veggie tray, that'd be carrots and celery. Of course, you and I we're not going there. That's down. That's 84 cents, down 6.4%. And then miscellaneous ingredients to prepare the meal, $3.75, down 5.1%, and 2 frozen pie crusts, $3.40, down 2.9%. So, it's everything is looking like, as far as it goes with regard to Thanksgiving dinner, every single one of those staples, it is down.
But still much higher than before the pandemic, right?
It's much higher. Yeah, they're saying that, according to the USDA, that food prices between 2019 and 2023, and this is across the board, but we're seeing it in the numbers, that we're talking about, like for the the parts of this meal, food prices rose 25% in that 4-year period from 2019 to 2023.
Right.
And there were actually parts of this meal that increased in price. So cranberries are up 11.8%. Dinner rolls are up 8.4%. 14 ounces of cubed stuffing mix up 8.2%. And a half pint of whipping cream is up 4.7%. So it's not like everything on the front end of that, that entire list we read, those were all down. But you have at least 4 staples to the to the typical Thanksgiving meal that are up.
That's right. And again, this is according to USDA. I think if you look at the Bureau of Labor Statistics and the Consumer Price Index, you learn food prices are up 25% when compared to before the pandemic.
Yeah, 100% agreement on that. And I would say at least, and I've shared that with you, before. I mean, just in, like my youngest daughter and I, we go shopping every Sunday morning, and part of the reason why we're doing that is because of, learning loss around math specifically. It's like, I give her a little budget and I'm like, hey, go and make sure you buy the things and have them, fit into this, whatever it is, $25 or $50, depending on how much the list I ask her to pick up.
Right.
And in conversations with the manager who, oversees the store, my local Albertson store only raises prices, according to her, in 10% increments. And she said that at that point in time, and this conversation is getting a little bit old. This was earlier this year. They had done like what amounted to be wholesale, across the board price changes, at least 3 or 4 times on most items. I am now paying $12 for the very non-bougie coffee that we drink here, whereas I used to be able to get it on sale for $4.99, and it was normally priced at about $6.99. So in some categories, I mean, we've seen what amounts to be like a 100% increase on the regular goods that Americans, and don't get me started on eggs. They used to give eggs away. And now if you can get eggs for, $3.49, you're winning. The 99-cent eggs, they're I don't know, they're gone. Yeah, yes. They drove off in your granddad's Oldsmobile. So, any other thoughts on Thanksgiving dinner? What are you doing for Thanksgiving, Dr. O?
We're actually going to be celebrating Thanksgiving with our neighbors.
Wonderful.
And they're a big family. They've invited a few people from the neighborhood. And so it's going to be a big crowd.
That's awesome. I'll be down in Georgia with my family, and I really look forward to that. I'll get to spend time with my brother's family, so it's nice. It's one of the reasons why I think this is the best holiday of the year. It does bring families together.
I mean, better if you don't have to travel. To be honest with you,
I will be doing that.
That should be another episode, by the way. We can talk about
the cost of getting to Thanksgiving dinner. Maybe we could save that for Christmas. We could talk to what it costs to go over the river and through the woods to Grandma's house for Christmas.
Especially now that we have, airlines that are going bankrupt.
Oh gosh, don't get me started. I literally just got off an airplane, as you know, to make it for this taping. Well, that'll do it. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone, from Dr. O and me. For Orphe Divounguy, this has been Chris Krug. Subscribe to Everyday Economics and other really, really terrific podcasts at americastalking.com.